Good morning, America. Severe weather threat for the start of the busy Thanksgiving travel week. The fears for flash floods and damaging hail. Samara tracking it all as millions of Americans take to the skies and the roads, setting new records, with the FAA ready to free up military airspace if needed.
Ukraine's urgent talks, the potentially pivotal moment as U.S. officials meet with Kyiv's delegation, ramping up the pressure to accept the latest peace deal. The U.S. addressing claims it was all a Russian proposal.
New developments after the passing of the Epstein bill. The Department of Justice seeking release of grand jury transcripts in Florida, including records dating back 20 years. What's behind the move?
Health battle for the granddaughter of President John F. Kennedy. Tatiana Schlossberg revealing she has terminal cancer. How the 35-year-old mother of two learned about her devastating diagnosis.
Talking turkey, taking the stress out of your Thanksgiving dinner, plus super sales. No need to wait for Black Friday with the deals that are live right now. GMA hunting down the best bargains.
And victory lap at the Las Vegas Grand Prix.
Max Verstappen wins the Vegas Grand Prix.
Max Verstappen makes it happen. Plus soccer stars, Gotham FC takes the trophy. Champions for the second time in 3 years.
Live from ABC News headquarters in New York City, it's Sunday. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Good morning.
There it is. Nailed it.
Got it.
Feels good to be back in studio.
Well, that's what happens after we come back from a break.
Right, I know. We had the best time in Raleigh yesterday. Glad to be back here in the building with Whit. Such a tight game in the National Women's Soccer League Championship. Gotham FC finally scoring the only goal over the Washington Spirit in the 80th minute of play. So we'll talk about that. We're also following college football. Texas quarterback Arch Manning with a historic win over Arkansas. We'll have all the highlights from Week 13.
We will, and there's also a lot happening overseas right now, including the latest efforts to end the Russia-Ukraine war. U.S. officials meeting with a Kyiv delegation with President Trump's Thanksgiving peace proposal deadline on the table right now, plus tensions ramping up in Venezuela as the U.S. builds up its military presence in the region.
But we do begin here with the busy Thanksgiving travel week, looking to be another record-breaking season, but not without some weather headaches. We have team coverage this morning. Morgan Norwood is monitoring the airports, but we begin with Samara Theodore and some stormy conditions on the move. Samara, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. That's right. All right, so let me walk you through it. Take a look this morning. If you're hitting the road anywhere on the East Coast, things look pretty good. We have our next cross-country storm that's already brewing in the southwest. You were lucky enough to get the whole week off, so you're leaving at 5 a.m. Monday from Dallas. Well, you're going to be riding through a lot of heavy rain if you're on I-40, I-35. If you're taking any flights from that region, you may be in for some delays. As we push forward in time, Tuesday morning, this is now hitting the southeast. Cities like Atlanta, Huntsville, Birmingham, into the Carolinas. By Tuesday at 9 p.m., we have showers in the northeast, but I want you to watch what happens. Wednesday to Thursday, we're finally drying out. That means on Thanksgiving Day, that may be the most optimal day to travel, as we will have quiet weather. That's a look at the forecast across the country. Gio, back to you.
All right, fingers crossed, Samara. Thank you so much. And travelers can expect lots of company on the roads and at the airports, with the FAA ready to open up military airspace if needed. Let's go ahead and check in with ABC's Morgan Norwood at Newark Liberty Airport there in New Jersey. Good morning, Morgan.
Hey, good morning to you, Gio. That's right. The holiday travel rush is in full swing. You're taking a look at the TSA checkpoint screening line here. Not too long of a line, so looking pretty good here at Newark. I also checked in on the cancellations and delays. Not seeing too many of those nationwide, but with airports from coast to coast expecting record numbers this week, we know that could change pretty quickly.
This morning, the Great Thanksgiving Getaway. 81 million Americans on the move from the interstates to the airports. According to Airlines for America, 31 million passengers will fly over the holiday stretch. And American Airlines says they're operating nearly 81,000 flights to keep up with that demand. United expecting 6.6 million passengers. But despite the boost in flight options, experts say bookings might be down compared to last year.
That could be in part due to the government shutdown and people deciding that they maybe didn't want to fly.
And though the shutdown is over, Airports and air traffic control are staffed. Some passengers, like Avery Monday from Atlanta and her toddler, aren't taking any chances.
We are unexpectedly going to Texas right before we go to Florida for Thanksgiving.
Avery documenting her flight prep on TikTok as she and her family prepare to take on 4 flights this week. She's worried about delays.
I will plan to get to the airport earlier than I normally do. Typically, my family's those that were walking onto the airplane as they're closing the doors, but we will not be doing that this time at all.
To ease congestion, the FAA says it's ready to tap military airspace if needed to keep planes flowing through the East Coast and Gulf.
Come fly with me, let's.
And in a new PSA from Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, he's asking travelers to bring manners and respect back to the skies this holiday travel stretch.
The golden age of travel begins with you.
And we know millions more of you will actually be driving to your holiday destinations this week. Tuesday and Wednesday, that's going to be the worst when it comes to that gridlock traffic. We always say get up early, leave late. That is especially true this week. You want to leave before noon or after 8 p.m. and especially give yourself some extra time going through those major cities. Janae?
Makes a lot of sense, Morgan. Thank you so much. Now to the talks happening today in Switzerland over the Trump administration's peace plan for Ukraine. ABC News' senior White House correspondent Selena Wang joins us with the latest, including a Thanksgiving deadline. Selena, good morning.
Good morning, Janae. That's right. And this could be a very pivotal moment for Ukraine, with the Trump administration ramping up pressure on the war-torn country to accept its latest peace plan. And they're giving Kyiv a stark ultimatum: take the new deal by Thanksgiving or risk losing U.S. support. This morning, high-stakes meetings between U.S. and Ukrainian officials set to begin in Switzerland. As Russia continues its relentless, deadly attacks, a Ukrainian official tells ABC News the Trump administration is threatening to cut off all military aid if the war-torn country does not agree to the administration's proposed peace deal. But President Trump now says his 28-point peace plan is not his final offer.
We're trying to get it ended. One way or the other, we have to get it ended.
Then overnight, a group of senators say Secretary of State Marco Rubio told them that the plan is a Russian proposal, directly contradicting what the president has claimed.
It is not our recommendation. It is not our peace plan. It is a proposal that was received and as an intermediary.
But soon after, Rubio publicly denying the comments, saying the peace proposal was authored by the U.S. It is offered as a strong framework for ongoing negotiations. It is based on input from the Russian side, but it is also based on previous and ongoing input from Ukraine. But that plan, alarming our allies across Europe. It forces Kyiv to give up more territory in the east, giving Russia control of almost 1/5 of the entire country. The deal would also limit the size of Ukraine's military to 600,000 and force Ukraine to promise it will never join NATO. But the plan does provide some sort of U.S. military-backed security guarantee for the country. President Zelensky says Ukraine may be choosing between losing its dignity or losing a key partner. Even Republican Senator Mitch McConnell is criticizing the deal, saying, quote, Putin has spent the entire year trying to play President Trump for a fool. Rewarding Russian butchery would be disastrous to America's interests. Now, we're also told that U.S. officials plan to meet separately with Russian officials. Vladimir Putin, for his part, is already praising the deal. Meanwhile, just moments ago, President Zelensky posted on social media that the Ukrainians are currently meeting with the Americans and the Europeans. He says he hopes there will be a result and that, quote, we must ensure that the war is never reignited.
All right, Selena, we appreciate it. Let's bring in ABC's Chief Global Affairs anchor, Martha Raddatz, who will be hosting This Week later on this morning. Martha, good morning to you. Always great to speak with you. So let's start there with the Ukraine peace talks. How likely is it that President Trump's Thanksgiving deadline will be met?
Well, it's a bit confusing. I mean, just listen to Selena there. First, they say the Ukrainians have to accept this by Thanksgiving. But then again, they say it is a framework. So it doesn't sound like they have to accept exactly what was given to them, a proposal which heavily favors Russia. Again, Russia invaded Ukraine. That is why we are here. So we'll watch this week, but it sounds a little bit like that deadline could move a bit if they make significant progress. And you have Steve Witkoff on the ground. You have Marco Rubio on the ground. What everyone wants to see in the administration is Vladimir Putin get together in some way with Zelensky and try to hammer this out. But I don't think either one of them will get together until there is significant progress. So it is definitely a deadline to watch, but it does look like this proposal could change over the next few days. Whit.
Yeah, major questions remain there. Martha, I'd also like to ask you about the escalating tensions with Venezuela. What are your sources telling you about possible next steps as the U.S. builds up its military presence in the region?
Well, certainly the next few weeks are something to watch because we have this massive show of force. We have the biggest aircraft carrier, the most lethal aircraft carrier that the U.S. has, the biggest in the world, really. And we have those B-52s fly over. So this is a significant show of force. So this is something we really want to watch this week and next week to see if that is all it is, to really just try to put pressure on Nicolas Maduro, the President Trump would really like him to go, to resign, to get out of that country. So that's what we're watching with.
All right, Martha Raddatz, thank you so much, as always. And tune into This Week later on this morning. Martha speaks with Senator Mark Warner and Representative Michael McCaul on the latest in Ukraine and Venezuela. Plus, Senator Alyssa Slotkin, who participated in a video that urged service members to resist illegal orders. Gio?
Okay, Whit, now to that new development in the Epstein files. The Department of Justice seeking the release of grand jury transcripts, and ABC's Olivia Rubin has been following this. You have this story now. Olivia, good
Certainly
morning.
A story many people are watching, and the Justice Department is up against a ticking clock to release the files it has on Jeffrey Epstein. And now we're seeing the first public indication of those current efforts coming in a Florida court filing. DOJ again asking a federal court to unseal grand jury transcripts related to the initial federal investigation against Epstein. That would include records dating back to 2005 and 2007. Notably, though, the new act passed by Congress doesn't mention grand jury transcripts at all, but DOJ lawyers says they believe that disclosure is required because the law doesn't specifically rule them out. But the department has been down this road before and unsuccessfully. Earlier this year, amid outrage over the administration's handling of the Epstein case, DOJ asked federal courts in New York and Florida to unseal those very same grand jury transcripts, but it was denied. In one ruling, a judge in New York sharply criticizing that initial request, accusing DOJ of trying to distract from the breadth of records it already has in its possession on Epstein. Still, in this new request, the department asking a Florida judge to move quickly here, noting they have 30 days to release those files, and every single day counting down further. Gio.
Yeah, so many people on both sides of the aisle want to see those files.
Certainly.
All right, Olivia, thank you so much. We turn now to a key part of President Trump's immigration policy, potentially before the Supreme Court, which could consider the president's effort to end birthright citizenship. ABC's Alex Prochet is following this one from Washington. Alex, good morning.
Good morning, Gio. Yeah, and this is big because as soon as tomorrow, the Supreme Court could say whether it will hear an appeal that could redefine birthright citizenship. Justices met Friday at their private weekly conference considering an appeal by the Trump administration. Remember, on his first day in office, President Trump signed an executive order declaring that only newborns who have parents with permanent legal status in the U.S. are eligible for birthright citizenship. Now, federal courts blocked that order as unconstitutional, citing more than a century of legal precedent. The 14th Amendment citizenship clause that all persons born or naturalized in the U.S. are citizens was ratified after the Civil War. And researchers estimate that this appeal could impact as many as 255,000 children born in the U.S. each year to one or more parents without American citizenship or permanent legal status. If enough justices vote in favor of the appeal moving forward, the High Court would rule in the case sometime next year. If they decide not to hear that appeal, birthright citizenship will continue to apply to anyone born on U.S. soil. Janae?
All right, Alex Prochet, thank you for that update. Now to the CDC's new language regarding vaccines and autism. Joining us is medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Good morning.
So let's start with Health and Human Services Director Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He says he asked the CDC to update its language on vaccines and autism. So tell us, what exactly changed?
Well, a significant change to the CDC website regarding vaccine safety. So essentially on the website, there's a statement that says the claim, quote, vaccines do not cause autism, end quote, is not an evidence-based claim because studies have not ruled out the possibility that infant vaccines cause autism. Now, Janae, aside from the fact that there is a substantial amount of evidence that shows that there is no link between vaccines and autism, you know, this statement is significant from the CDC, Premier Health Institute, leading a lot of public opinion, and it's a statement that is not based in evidence. There's no new study that shows any association between vaccines and autism. And Janae, in practice, over 5 million participants, that's how large these studies are, show continuously over 40 different states that there is no association between vaccines and autism. And it's not consistent with our current reality. We're seeing a decrease in vaccination rates and a rise in the diagnosis of autism. Last year, half the states in the United States saw a decline in vaccination rates compared to the year prior.
Do you think it'd be fair to characterize that statement from many medical professionals as alarming?
It is alarming and it's concerning because it's shifting moms and dads who are trying to make this difficult decision and adding unnecessary fear. And it's so important for parents to understand that when you're looking at these options, the risk of an infection and complications far exceed the risk of vaccines that we use to prevent them. And your risk of exposure to these diseases, Janae, is almost certain. For example, this year we saw 45 outbreaks of measles at least. That's triple the number we saw last year. We're seeing rising rates in the country. 90% over 90% are unvaccinated, and these come with complications. Before vaccines were available, close to 50,000 people were hospitalized in this country secondary to measles.
Okay, so for you, you're saying that's the bottom line that parents need to know right now when it comes to that. Okay, let's also talk about another headline that we were talking about this week. The March of Dimes released its annual report card on infant mortality. You were here on GMA when I reported this, giving the U.S. a D+ for the 4th year in a row. What does this grade tell us about the state of maternal and infant health?
It tells us that women, mothers, are in dire need of quality obstetric care within this country. 1 in 10 infants born premature. The studies are staggering. For Black mothers, they carry and continue to carry the burden of these numbers. Black women 1.5 times more likely to have a premature baby, dying 2 to 3 times at a higher rate compared to their white counterparts. So important to understand these variable rates are different from state to state, likely secondary to policy. But for moms trying to look for assistance out there, know your numbers, your blood pressure, your blood sugar, seek out assistance early and make a plan now if you're deciding to have a family, because unfortunately these systems and policies will take time to shift to help mothers in need.
It blew me away that nearly 25% of moms are not getting the care they need during their first trimester. Dr. Sutton, thank you so much.
Of course.
Gio.
Yeah, such an important conversation, Janae. Thank you so much. All right, we turn now to violence on a college campus. 2 football players were stabbed just hours before a home game at the University of Alabama, Birmingham. School officials say the athletes were stabbed Saturday afternoon at a campus sports facility. The 2 athletes are in stable condition this morning. Jail records show that a teammate was booked on assault and attempted murder charges. Police have not confirmed if that player is connected to the double stabbing.
All right, Formula One racer Max Verstappen on a victory lap this morning after winning the Las Vegas Grand Prix. The Red Bull driver held a commanding lead for the 50 laps around the iconic strip. This win makes him the first driver to win the Las Vegas Grand Prix twice.
Okay, and next up here, all the action in college football. Teams fighting for potential spots in the playoff. ABC's Ike Jachi is here with the Saturday highlights. Ike, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Gio. It was a wild and pivotal weekend in college football as playoff hopes hung in the balance from Dallas to Norman all the way to Eugene.
This morning, the race to the college football playoff is heating up.
Going deep, and it is intercepted.
In Norman, the Oklahoma Sooners kept their playoff hopes burning thanks to a dominant defensive second half.
One of the fastest players in the country. Touchdown!
Quarterback John Mateer connecting with Isaiah Sategna for an electrifying 87-yard catch and run. The Sooners defense sacked Missouri 4 times and pinned the Tigers deep with stellar special teams play. Oklahoma grinding out a 17-6 win.
The linebacker for the touchdown for the Ducks.
Out west in Eugene, Oregon's Ducks soared past USC 42-27, powered by Dante Moore's 257 passing yards and 2 touchdowns.
Fires and Kenyon Sadiq, touchdown.
Malik Benson stealing the show with an 85-yard punt return for a score. The Ducks racked up 436 total yards, keeping their playoff hopes alive.
Being pressured, steps up in the pocket, goes downfield, and it's a touchdown.
In Texas, quarterback Arch Manning delivering a performance for the ages in a 52-37 win over Arkansas.
Downfield and gets it complete to Wingo.
Manning accounted for 6 touchdowns, 4 through the air, 1 on the ground, and 1 as a receiver, becoming the first Longhorn ever to throw, rush, and catch a score in the same game.
How about that, guys? And Utah coming back from the dead yesterday, down 47-35. The Utes turning the tables by blocking a 2-point conversion attempt. Then they went on to score 14 unanswered points. The Utes keeping their playoff hopes alive, guys. College football, I love it.
Yeah, you're all fired up.
You really are. Wow. Give you some caffeine? You don't need any? All right, still ahead here on GMA. Shop till you drop from door stoppers, doorbusters. Just deals
You can
on
buy door stoppers, too.
You can get deals on that, too.
Yeah.
We're going to show you where to save big.
Absolutely. Also ahead, Thanksgiving 411, what you need to know to get set for the big feast.
And drum sensation, a 74-year-old percussion legend who's going viral. Stick around.
Look at that banger. Welcome back to GMA. That's Gotham FC's Rose Lavelle scoring the winning goal in the National Women's Soccer League Championship with a side net. Those feel so good, right?
Yeah.
You know that
Yeah.
feeling? Yeah. They defeated the Washington Spirit 1-0 in front of a sold-out crowd at PayPal Park in San Jose. The win caps Gotham's storybook season and marks the team's second championship title in 3 years. Great game.
Congrats to them.
Yeah, totally know the feeling of that side.
Yeah,
I've got the side net inside of the foot, curls in past the post. It's good stuff.
He's
Sorry.
our soccer guy.
My old glory days coming back.
Let's take a look at some of the other big stories we're following here on this Sunday morning. Israeli forces launch airstrikes in Gaza, killing at least 24 people, injuring more than 50 others. That's according to the Gaza Health Ministry. Israel's military leaders say that the attacks were targeting senior Hamas leaders. This latest strike happening amid a 6-week-old ceasefire in the war-torn territory.
Tatiana Schlossberg, the granddaughter of former President John F. Kennedy, reveals she has been diagnosed with terminal cancer. Schlossberg penned an essay in The New Yorker sharing that she has acute myeloid leukemia with a rare mutation diagnosed after giving birth to her second child. She's undergone several medical treatments and says her doctors believe that she has less than a year to live.
A powerful blast rips through an apartment building for seniors in Ohio, leaving several people injured. Fire officials say the explosion happened on the 4th floor of the complex in Austintown Saturday afternoon. The blast tore through walls and windows. No word yet on what caused the explosion or if the building is structurally sound.
All right, police are recounting this wild scene that played out in New Jersey. Look at this. A horse led police on a chase through Monroe Township on Friday. Beautiful horse. Someone called 911 after the horse was spotted in a neighborhood. Police tried to wrangle the horse, but it just sprinted away as officers closed in. They eventually caught up with the horse after a brief pursuit. The horse is now back home with its owner.
I give the officer credit for trying to catch a horse.
Like, what do you do?
There goes the horse. Quick, run after him and catch that horse. But glad the horse is okay.
Yeah.
Everybody's good. Okay. We start this half hour with, we're talking turkey today, right? And the best way to make sure that you have a delicious, stress-free, and safe Thanksgiving. ABC's Andrew Dimbert is here with the Thanksgiving 411. What's going on, Andrew?
Hey, Whit. Well, whether you're a seasoned host or cooking Thanksgiving dinner for the first time, you better believe things can run afoul in a hurry. So here's some tips to keep your feast from fiasco. First, everyone loves a well thought out plan, especially when we're talking turkey. The USDA says the bird needs about 24 hours of fridge time for every 4 to 5 pounds. So a big turkey, that equals days of thawing. If you're short on time, there is a safe backup, the cold water thaw. Keep the turkey in its airtight original wrapping, fully submerged, changing the water every 30 minutes per pound that your turkey weighs. Next, no matter your skill range, stay near the stove. Thanksgiving is the #1 day for home cooking fires, according to the National Fire Protection Association, and it usually starts with someone stepping away for just a second. And you've probably seen tons of videos from your local fire department about the deep fry turkey craze. Fire officials really discourage using these backyard oil-filled turkey fryers. As you can see here, They can get out of control in a split second. And finally, your oven probably seems enormous, but on Thanksgiving, your turkey can make it feel more like a toaster. So make sure everything can fit. You can start prepping now. Make a list if it helps. It's all gravy if you prep ahead, based on my experience. But look, give yourself some credit, even if the dinner doesn't come out perfect. At Yeast, you try.
Oh, no, Andrew.
Man.
Andrew.
We need
You know,
well done.
It was.
We need a tally, like
Snaps
a
for that,
fun
Andrew.
count. I think we counted 8 on that.
It was the
Andrew.
Well done.
pauses showing how proud he
Yes.
was
Yes.
of those puns. Thank you, Andrew.
At Yeast, you tried.
Yeah.
Thank you.
After all those puns, I'm stuffed.
Oh, there's the tally.
All right.
Hey, there was a tally.
There is a tally. That's
Nailed
hysterical.
it.
Yesterday he had 7, I'm told. All right, cool. Thank you, Andrew. Well thought out. All right, you don't have to wait till the turkey's in the tummy to snag a Black Friday bargain. Sales are happening right now at ABC's Will Gans. You got all the deals. You're finding them all. What you got?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Just like my homemade buffalo chicken dip, some of the best parts of Thanksgiving and the best sales this week arrive well before the turkey even touches the table. We're talking Black Friday sales starting right now at Amazon and Target, and more to come from your other favorite retailers.
Black Friday is here, whether you're ready or not.
Sounds like a you problem, Shrimpy Lou.
Brands recruiting familiar characters this season, hoping nostalgia will sell. From Walmart's Walton Goggins Grinchmas to the return of Target's Hot Santa.
Just had to put something on the naughty list.
How do you get on that list? But with all those familiar favorites, one new topic has dominated this year's Black Friday conversation.
Where are we going to be with tariffs in the next week or in the next 2 weeks? That's really going to determine how we see prices of products out on the store shelves.
For anybody hoping to snag a deal in the face of those higher prices, you don't have to wait until Friday. Right now, Amazon is running 12 days of Black Friday savings. Today sees tech items up to 50% off, like these Beats Studio Pro headphones. And at Walmart, beginning on Tuesday, you can save up to 50% on fashion, furniture, tech, and other special deals. Expect over 60% off this 15-piece cookware set. And call it a Target sleigh. Black Friday deals at Target begin today with savings of up to 50% off across top categories, including half off small appliances. And finally, at Kohl's, big savings begin today too. Select Sephora beauty products are up to 50% off, and you can save 25% off select styles of Adidas, Nike, New Balance, Converse, and Under Armour shoes. And remember, don't be afraid to ask for electronic backup.
You really need to lean hard on technology, set your price of what you want to spend, have a very specific list, and then make sure that you're getting the alerts when those prices either meet the price that you want to spend at or if it's going up or down.
And if you're wondering what you should wait to buy, our expert has a great tip. The Consumer Electronics Show happens every year in January. So if you can hold off on electronics, prices tend to go down when newer electronics models debut at CES that first weekend of the new year. So hold off there. No doorstopper
No
sales.
doorstopper?
Yeah, I really,
asking.
I looked, but not high in demand, I guess, this season.
Thank you so much, Will. Lots of great games to talk about this week in the NFL. Here to share his insights is ESPN football analyst and our friend Herm Edwards. Good morning to you, Coach. We were all in the break marveling at your outfit and 3 patterns. It looks so good, and you are ready for the holidays.
Holiday
we love
ready.
it.
Holiday fresh.
Okay.
Well, my wife dresses me, so I have I can't say anything. I just, whenever she dresses
good
me,
on you.
Hats
Nails
off
it
to
every day.
her. Yes, so impressive. Okay, let's start with the rivalry that goes back more than 60 years. The Vikings and the Packers. What should we watch out for?
Well, obviously the young quarterback for the Vikings, McCarthy, has been struggling of late. That's not a good sign. And if you're looking about the Green Bay Packers, you know, they lost 2 home games this year, and that's unusual for the Green Bay Packers. So this is kind of a must-win, I think, for both teams at this point in the season, especially for Green Bay. We expected a lot out of this Packer team, and Love obviously is a really good quarterback. But this is a game where I'm looking at the Packers need to win this football game. It's almost a must-win for the Green Bay Packers.
All right, next up, Coach, we got 2 teams that have been surprises. The Colts have outperformed expectations, while the Chiefs, they're trying to stay in the playoff picture. What do you say, Coach?
Well, this is all about Mahomes and Kelsey right now, when you break it down. They are on the brink of not going to the playoffs, and if we would have said that in the beginning of the season, we'd look at you and look at me and say that's not going to happen. But this team has struggled. It's a 5-5 football team. you are what your record indicates, 5-5. Now, with that being said, it's basically a 7-game season. They are in the race to try to get to 10 wins that will allow them maybe to get in the playoffs. But right now, they're on the outside looking in.
All right, now let's go to primetime. A great matchup here. The Bucs facing the Rams, and an excellent quarterback matchup here. What do you think?
Well, this Ram football team is probably the most complete team in the NFL. Defensively, they're only giving up about 18 points. They've taken the ball away. They've got a nice running attack and might have the MVP in Matthew Stafford playing quarterback. Puka's back. They have Adams along with Puka. This team is, as I said, and I'm going to just say it, they are the most complete team. And I hate to say that because, you know, I'm a little bit leaning towards the Eagles, my former team. But this Ram team is really, really good. So this will be a fun game to watch.
All right. Well, okay, this is the part of the program that I'm not looking forward to. That's our Who's with Herm segment, because we were all winners last week. That part's good, thanks to the Cowboys Monday night winning that. That means Gio has 8 now. We're going to the board. Janae has 7. Herm has 6. I've got 3.
You go win. Look at you.
I improved my record by a whole third in just 1 week. So that's exciting. All right, this week, though, this is what I really like. My Niners facing the Panthers on Monday night. What do you say, Coach?
Oh, come on. I'm going with San Francisco.
There we
There's
go.
no doubt.
Okay.
And I think, you know, this is a team, it's sad in the fact that they were all beat up early in the season, and now they're starting to come back, especially that guy, McCaffrey. Purdy's back in the lineup. This is a team that will make a run at it. Maybe they can get in. They got 7 wins, but they know that games like this, they have to win. I do believe they'll win this football game.
Yeah,
okay.
They've got 7 wins. The Panthers have 6. So I'm going with the Niners.
Oh, look at you.
Google machine.
Okay, he will be throwing around the pigskin on Thanksgiving. I'm going with Coach 2.
Okay, I'm going Niners.
Right.
Of course, I have to go Niners. So now there's no chance of me catching you guys.
Exactly.
Regardless of what happens.
Strategy.
This is looking real good
Coach,
for me.
Thank you so much. And you can watch the Niners versus the Panthers tomorrow on Monday Night Football at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
All right. And coming up here on Good Morning America, the scene caught on camera, drumming up a whole lot of interest on social media. We love this story. Stay with us. All right, time now for our play of the day, a memorable moment, and it all played out on a street corner. And Will Gantz is here with the details.
I am,
This
yeah.
is so sweet.
I love this story. Take a look at this percussion duet blowing up online. This video of Dorothea Taylor playing the buckets with a young street performer in Nashville, drumming up 16 million views on TikTok. Comments pouring in like different generations, completely different lives, but in this moment they spoke the same language, just without words. I spoke with Dorothea about the experience, which has been a long time coming. She wanted to play the drums back in high school, but back then they didn't even want girls playing drums, so she just joined the local drum and bugle corps instead. And she hasn't looked back. She has since played with Ray Charles on stage. She's given lessons to Jamie Lee Curtis. And this latest duet going viral on TikTok reminds her of her own humble beginnings. She sees in the street performer the same passion she had as a young musician. Here's her message to him.
I want you to continue enjoying playing the drums and maybe take some, classes on drum set if you have not already, but continue the good work and spread the sunshine for all the tourists that are, traveling through Nashville. If you are born to be a drummer and you're a real drummer, you can't stop. My husband thought that when we got married, I would never play drums again. He was fooled. And here I am. I'm going to be 75 next week.
He was fooled. Yeah.
Amazing.
In that room, she has 4 drum kits, not just the one that you saw. Yeah. So she is a force. And in an effort to continue to spread some of that musical inspiration, Dorothea Taylor is hosting a 12 days of giveaways on her own social media platforms, which are now more popular than ever thanks to this video. She's going to give equipment to young people who might be looking to keep the beat going.
That is so
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
What a fun story.
So cool.
Will, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for starting your day with us. That was fun.
It was.
It was good to have you back in studio as well.
Yes.
Yeah, we missed
Off
you yesterday.
the parade route.
Yes,
They're
exactly.
back.
Yeah, their wrists are sore from yesterday.
Yes.
You can catch more weekend news on ABC News Live.
Yep, I'll
Great
be
week.
over there. Have a great one.